Now from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Thee. Here on Thursdays, we celebrate our women of action here in the Iowa Great Lakes, and I'm happy to have here today Shantel Pausley. We're sitting here in the Cherish house, and of course we got Cherished again, and just a busy lady.
So many wonderful things. Cherish Center is ready to go.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been having fun.
Well, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But what we wanted to talk about, because you recently had a press release that went out to Shantel on that you were appointed to the Postpartum Support International Board. And tell us a little bit about how you came to be on that and why and exactly what it is.
Right. Postpartum Support International. So Postpartum Support International is represented in 44 states. Okay. So it's international, obviously, but we have 44 chapters, Iowa being one of those, which is amazing. So what it really focuses is on the perinatal and postnatal mental health, meaning during pregnancy and that year after. So that's really what it's trying to be, is just be that bridge to if you're pregnant or have almost to a 1-year-old and you're experiencing some of those mental health symptoms of sadness or depression or sometimes obsessive compulsive to a psychosis, they're saying, hey, we're here as a resource.
Right.
That's their hope, is to just be a bridge to that.
Right. So how did you get involved?
Right.
Yeah.
I know, because it doesn't land in your lap every day. This came, so I just celebrated my 1 year as being director of the Cherish Center, which, though I've been a part of Cherish Center for a long time, there is nothing like being able to be the executive director of the Cherish Center. And so it was a wonderful first year celebration. When we really looked at this as a board and in leadership of, we have a phrase, we say, we're a home, we're a hope, and we're here. Okay. How are we here? So how are we showing up? And that's twofold. So how are we showing up with grace and compassion and care and more of that direct care sense? Right. How are we coming alongside, inviting conversation, inviting people that could use our resources? And then in an indirect sense, how are we showing up? Like, we are here. How are we showing up with our tool belt of knowledge and our partners in understanding this field?
Right.
So one part is there is a National Maternity Home Coalition, and that is just a group in the United States of other maternity homes. We get together about once a year. Okay. We talk about, hey, what are you doing down in Arizona? What you doing in Washington? What's going on?
You're with your peers.
Yes.
You're having conversations of what are you seeing? What how are you dealing with that? And you learn from that.
Yeah, and that's great. And it's very maternity home specific. So either maternity home or women and children's home, as Cherish House is. And we saw on this other hand of, okay, so who's our partner over here to the right that we can have those conversations with about maternal mental health, especially how it affects hormonally to the mental health piece and also substance use. Right. Since that's the residents we are certainly caring for at the Cherish House. Right. We want to know who's our access point. They are out there on the forefront doing research. What can we glean from them in those conversations? Right. So we talked with maternal mental health, we talked with PSI, and PSI has been amazing. They were just granted, it'll start early 2022, the first ever maternity mental health hotline. Wow. 24/7, calling in English and Spanish. So that was...
How huge is that?
It was so neat to just come on board and hear about it, just hear the work they have done to receive that and to implement that.
So obviously they're going in the right direction.
Yes.
For this to be noticed in that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we said, you know what, this is something we want to have further conversations about, and likewise, so in an Iowa standpoint, Iowa City has been forerunners in this, followed by members in Ames. On our board for Iowa, we have founding members, so it is great, and they are just wanting to reach out, especially into our rural communities. And so Northwest Iowa gave that perfect fit of, let's talk further.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it came to be, and I'm just so thankful that we took the time to diligently look into how, when we say we're a home, we're a hope, and we're here, how are we here? Because we want to show up tool belt of knowledge ready, partners in hand.
Right.
And of course we've received so much good information over the course of this year of being very diligent about reaching outside of our community to a larger capacity. And we just funnel in that information and we kind of compare it to our values and our mission. Some things we're like, we're going to pocket that idea for later. Yeah, that's a really good idea. That may take a lot of volunteers. But, you know, and they've, of course, learned things from us as well. As access to care in rural settings, very different than when you're in Phoenix.
Right.
And so I love being able to have those collaborative conversations and just collectively strengthen all of us.
Right. You know, and postpartum depression, first of all, it's a very real thing. It's a very active thing. And it's all part of mental health, which I think in this country people are dealing with.
Right.
Keeping their mental health in a healthy sense. And, you know, and there's too many times where we as individuals, especially if we're surrounded by people with the, you know, you got to buck up, you know, and what do you got to be sad about? You got a brand new beautiful baby boy here, and how could you possibly be sad, you know? And then you're bringing it all inside, and maybe you're afraid to reach out to somebody, going, you know, I am not feeling good about things.
Oh, you're right, because it can also be looked at as, well, that's not very grateful.
Yes.
Sometimes it's really nothing about that. There is certainly a hormonal and a biological component to this.
Right.
And that is a piece that needs to be represented in a conversation. There is sometimes we place that expectation that you should be happy, as you said.
Yeah.
So you should be doing this. Is that true? That's what we compare it to. And we say that's not everyone's experience. No. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's one part that is.
That's just it. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And what can we do instead of you should be feeling this, you should be happy? What can we do to come alongside and guide you, help you in this time? It can be as simple from meals to, hey, I know someone. Call the Cherish Center. Just see what they know. See what they can do. I'm very open to phone calls too. There's other people in our community that have been vested and passionate about that season in a woman's life.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we instead of being maybe reactive, we really want to embrace being proactive and say, you may experience this.
Yes.
And that's okay, as we come back to.
And that's okay. And sometimes it's nice to talk to somebody, whether it be somebody in this community or through a network that you can help with. You know what? I felt that exact same way too.
You're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
And that there's somebody else.
Right.
You know, I'm not alone in this the way I'm feeling.
Yes. Because it's one thing to feel alone at the hospital when have a new baby and maybe still the newness of it all or the hormonal, is coming through and you have nurses with you. And then there's another thing to go home and there's not always that support. At Cherish House, that's where we really, that's one of our features. We really embrace that postpartum care.
Yeah.
An interesting part when I was talking about why it is so important to dig into how you show up for the people you serve was we had learned through our training. Another counselor here on staff at Cherish Center went through this we were going through a certification course as well. Yeah. And we had learned just the changes that happens within the body hormonally at a 3-month mark. Right. So program-wise at the Cherish House, we generally had them stay about 3 months. We were kind of looking at that from a child development standard. So baby's going to be maybe sleeping a little bit better. You're kind of going to do okay once you transition out. We literally, in our connection with PSI and learning and taking a dive into maternal mental health, learned there is a huge shift within a woman's body 3 months after she has baby.
Right.
we want her in our care.
Yes.
That's about our timeline of when we say, okay, let's transition to your next place. So right then we had a strong conversation about we need to lengthen care to a 6 to 9 month post at Cherish House.
Yeah.
And that's when you're open to learning, that's the difference it can make.
Yes.
So that's where programming and some of that indirect care is critically important to how we show up in our direct care.
Yeah.
So we can say, yeah, we talked about this. Remember when we talked about at that 3-month mark how your body changes a little bit? That sounds like what that's experiencing.
Yes.
Instead of, oh boy, we didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's that being proactive and a learner stance instead of being reactive and saying, well, you shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Baby is sleeping more.
Yeah.
Just shifting the conversation to, how are you doing, mama?
Yeah.
How's baby and how are you?
Yeah. Instead of looking at that timeline of 9 months, okay, we're done, we're good to go.
Right.
It's more of 18 months.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
9 months after birth. And so, wonderful service,
Yes.
Shantel.
Yeah, and really, you know, at the Cherish House, women come and they decide whether or not they're going to parent or place their child. And that's a component that we graciously walk them through in their choice.
Yeah.
No matter if they have given their child for adoption or for placement,
Right.
their hormones and their body experience is still going to feel that.
Exactly.
So they are welcome to stay here in our care during that time as well.
See, and that's a good education for me and for anybody watching this, Shantel, that, you know, with you, like you say, keep it, mother it, or,
Right.
or
Yeah.
put it up for adoption. Your body's still going to do what a post delivery would do anyway. You know, so,
And therefore the care of the mother should be the same.
yeah.
Yeah, she's a mother that chose placing her child into a family.
Yeah.
And so we just really that was the one of the most beautiful marks of taking a deep dive into looking at policy, procedure, I mean committee meetings after committee meetings and programming, and saying look at the fruit we gained from just taking a larger view of just the relevant research that's out there right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
If people have questions on that, before we talk about anything else, how can they find out more about this then?
Yeah, probably the best way is to call the office, call the Cherish Center.
Okay.
So 712-338-3333. Welcome to ask for me or leave a voicemail. It has been great to even just start to see, hey, I've been interested in this. Let's talk more.
Yeah.
Let's get the community talking about how we can bring either resources here or strengthen what we already have going in a collective manner.
Yeah, and I think it's maybe not more important now than ever, but you know, facing almost a year of
Right.
being secluded, you know, that doesn't add any good things to the elements either. So wonderful.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a couple other things that let's stay with Cherish here for now, and with Cherish again, which formerly is the garage sale. But you know, and what a great! Not only it makes great ongoing fundraising for Cherish Center and so forth, but it's such a great service to the area, and a lot of it is added by the fact that you've got trucks. If people have got items, that's great. We'll come get it.
Absolutely. I mean, that is one awesome part of the Cherished Again is we can come pick it up for you. We can deliver it to you. You see something, let us know. You have something, let us know. Warren Yeager is our operations director, and he's phenomenal with, all right, just we'll get out there to you. We'll set this up. And it's amazing, too, to just see what comes in.
Oh, man.
We have had wonderful lift chairs coming in and the furniture, sets of furniture. There was one that I was not quick enough on, and I thought, oh, that would look beautiful in my living room, and somebody beat me to it. Yes, we say that in the office. We say, oh, I did it again. I didn't buy it quick enough, because we have so many that just love the store in general, come for their normal day that they take a walk around around the store and love to chit chat with the employees, and they're all so fun and great at Cherished again. But yeah, that is one feature that we have found. If that is certainly a barrier for you in donating, we would love to help out by picking it up or setting up a delivery time for you.
Yeah. And when you were telling me before we got started here, the fact that people are donating lift chairs for the elderly, and scooters, yes. And when you've got an older member of your family and you're thinking, and then you go to price them.
Right.
They can be quite pricey. And for those that need, I think it's wonderful that people think of Cherish again.
Yeah.
That, what, this was great for when my grandparents needed it. I want someone else to be able to get it at a fair price.
You're right. And that's also where the delivery comes in so nice, because sometimes those setups or maybe you don't have just the means to be able to, my parent needs this, but I can't get it to them.
Yes.
Great, call us.
Yeah.
We will figure that out.
Yeah. Because I've tried to lift a lift chair. It wasn't that successful, Shantel. And you're also busy this week because, it's homecoming at Okoboji High School.
Yes.
And it's exciting because they're really having a homecoming this year.
Right. So exciting. Exciting time in the Lakes area with Spirit Lake and Okoboji having their homecoming. And Okoboji we're versing the Cherokee Braves on Friday night. And 2:15 we will do an Okoboji parade. So we will be dousing the crowd with candy, and the Booster Club float will have mini footballs, and that starts at the Okoboji Middle School, goes around to the elementary school and up north on 71 and then west on 11th. And then we'll kind of regroup and we'll get ready for Friday night. So 5:30 is when we will have some perfect fall soup. So chicken noodle soup by Oak Hill Marina.
Oh, see, that's perfect this time of the year because we dress in layers.
I know.
We start out
You
with
just
sweaters.
imagine a little bowl of soup. And 6:30 is when we will have the program. 6:30 is also when the Booster Club will be out there. We are giving away pom-poms and foam noodles, so whichever you prefer.
Nice.
So 6:30 is the program. 7 o'clock is the game. So that's when we will cheer on a big win for Okoboji. But
Absolutely.
important to get there, knowing especially that the food starts at 5:30, the program at 6:30, and 7 the game.
Okay. When do they announce homecoming?
Homecoming King and Queen. They did that last night.
Oh, they did?
Yes,
Last night?
yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
Wednesday night was a fun night of coronation and powder puff football and all the good stuff.
So it sounds to me like you're enjoying being in the Okoboji Booster Club.
Yes, yeah. Booster Club's been a great way to get to know other parents, get to know coaches even more, get to understand just their insights behind their coaching kind of method. Great to hear Coach Pluger talking about, how he's just helping the team get into the mindset of going into the storm, of football, and just how much there's a body component getting them ready, physically ready, but the mental mindset, that's been great. And I learned that all through being at the Booster Club meetings.
Yeah,
It's just that opportunity.
Being a coach, I wouldn't have the faculties to do that. It'd be, okay, 11 guys out on the field.
Right.
Whatever 11 want to go.
Right. Yes. I know.
So it takes a special person.
It sure does.
Yeah.
And just someone who's passionate and can give that vision and direction. And the Milford youth football will actually be able to take part in some of the evening of homecoming game. And so that's just an extra layer that I love being able to learn about that as having a son that's a player, but also just hearing from the coaches. Why does Coach Pluger think that is an important aspect?
Yeah.
So hearing the heart behind it.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing more than, you're kind of coaching for life too. You're taking a group of young men and teaching them how to work together, what teamwork is. And it's not just the W or the L at the end.
Right.
It's what did you learn?
Absolutely.
And how will you take this lesson for the rest of your life? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Shantel, thank you.
You bet.
It's always a treat to talk to you, but I just love hearing, I appreciate everything Cherish Center, Cherish again, Cherish House, all that does for communities in this with postpartum depression. I think is a great new service for young women. So, and thank you for all you do.
You bet. Thank you as well.
So,
Yeah.
it's always my pleasure. Indeed. Shantel Pausley here with us today. Of course, we're at the Cherish House right here in Spirit Lake as we celebrate Women of Action here in the Iowa Great Lakes every Thursday. We thank her for being with us. We thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by the headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. The Scott Troutman State Farm Agency in Spirit Lake. Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Ruthven Locker at the Lake, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.